Mary's song reminds us of who God is and ways that God responds to us and in our lives. Responding to meet our needs, responding to our situations, responding to us. And we as disciples are to learn from God's actions and respond to the needs of each other, just as God responds to us. A few weeks ago, my family was all at home. My husband was outside doing yard work, and it was going toward the evening, and I was getting the kids ready for bed. And so my son goes to get ready. He gets in the shower, and I'm off doing my own little thing. And I hear some noise, but I can't really make out what it is. My son has a habit of singing in the shower, and so it sounds like he's just singing at the top of his lungs. And I kind of listen more carefully, and then I realize that he's screaming. And he jumps out, I see him running, and I go running to him. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, Mommy, there's a spider in the shower. And if you know me, I don't do bugs. I don't do anything that crawls. But in my mind, I'm thinking, maybe this is an insy-wincy little teeny thing. I grab my little house shoe, and because my husband is outside, I'm like, okay, let me get my brave face on, and let me go tackle this spider. So I have my little house shoe, and I go in the bathroom, and I yank the curtains back. The water is still running, and I don't see anything. And I'm like, it was so small, it went down the drain. Then I look as I'm about to walk out, and next to my hand, on the shower curtain, is a spider. Now, I'm not talking about the spider that was in my head. This thing, if you went to go see the lights this past few days, it was probably close to the size of the magnet that you got, which was about this big. And so I scream and I start running too. And I tell my daughter, go get your daddy. I'm calling for him. I'm like, go get him. So he comes in. He takes care of the spider. When my husband walked inside and took care of the spider, he made the mistake of telling my son, yeah, I heard you screaming when I was outside, but I thought you were playing around. And my son pretty much did a double take and looked at my husband and asked, you heard me screaming? And my husband said, yes, but I thought you were just playing around. And without hesitation, my son said to him, Daddy, if I am screaming like it's an emergency, then you need to come running. No smile, straight face. And I'm looking at my husband like, ooh, you in trouble. And he looked at my husband again and said, Daddy, if I'm screaming like it's an emergency, then you need to come running. And as I'm watching all of this unfold, I can see the perplexed look on my son's face because he could not believe that his father heard him screaming and did not come to his rescue. And as I reflected on how my son felt at the lack of response to his cry for help, I thought about all of the many other people who feel the same way. The people who are experiencing hardship, life-changing events, unexpected situations, people who are scared and in need and are crying out for help, all while realizing that others hear them, but they won't respond. That others hear their cries, that others hear their need, but choose to look the other way and not respond. Part of our responsibility as disciples for Christ is to respond. Mary's song reminds us that God shows compassion and God shows grace. And as followers, we are called to show others compassion and grace and respond. This psalm teaches us that God is a protector and has a heart for the marginalized and the humble. And just as God protects, we too must lean into our connection and protect others when they cry out. We too must do the same. Just as God responds to us, we respond to other people. Just as God hears our cries, we choose to listen to the cries of other people and respond.